No, sir.
No. Okay, good. So please go through that, read, underline, take notes. It's just easy, simple way of doing things. You don't have to rush through. Even if you don't complete all, it's okay. You can do it, but now you have enough time, whole week to go. But the point is that you should do something. I don't force. I don't usually uh, very harsh on deadline, but I want that there should be some progress at least. You should be doing your work at least. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
But if you are
Yes, sir.
silent and saying nothing and making situation even worse, so that won't help. You have done it or not, please speak out and tell that, okay, this is the situation, and give me the next plan that, okay, I can do it next time, whatever. But just silence mean nothing. Okay. Was with War of Independence ended, and last time, if you remember, I discussed with you the later impact of the war, the effect of the war. Do you remember that? The last portion we did, the last part of the lesson?
Yes, sir.
Effects of the war. Can you tell me what was the major effect? Anyone? One of the main effect of the war in India. Yes, boys. Anyone, raise your hand or tell me straight. Hurry up. What did the War of Independence change in India? What was its effect?
Sir, I don't know.
The British rule become more stronger than before.
Okay, stronger. Okay. Who else? Anyone?
Sir, I don't know.
You don't know. Why don't you know? Because all the time I can't take this answer. I don't know. And this should be clear. And this is, by the way, a very normal, routine thing that you would be asked some question about the previous topic to start the next topic. So you should know at least the fundamentals of the previous topic. And when I say that it's okay that if you don't know, that doesn't mean that it is okay all the time to don't know. You may not know a question answer, but all the time straight I don't know is not acceptable. Now we did it very last day. It's not been any big gap between, like we are taking class after 5 days, 3 days, 4 days. But even then you are not supposed to. We did it yesterday. What was the impact of the war? Did Mughal Empire ended?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So why do you say that I don't know? Why did you say this? Mughal Empire ended. This is the major impact, that Mughal Empire ended. Mughal rule ended, formally ended. And now British Empire, India became part of British Empire. I told you this last day. Empire. India now British Empire. And one major change was how did British treat Indian at the end of the war? Tell me. Raise your hand those who know this question answer. How did British treat Indian at the end of the war? Raise your hand if you have any idea. Muhammad Kundi. Only one person know that what did British do to India. Hold on, Muhammad, hold on for a minute. Let me check it. Okay. What about the rest of the people? You don't even like, these are common things. And this is not some chemical reaction formula or something you have to drive from something else. And this is a simple thing. What did they do? Yes, Kundi, you tell me. You raise hand first.
Sir, the British treated Indians very badly. They tortured them. Sir, they hung the sepoys. They hung the sepoys. They killed the children. With some children, they also bullets on them. They hung people from the trees or very high areas.
Okay, okay. So, nutshell that British rarely punished Indians, and these, like, this was a bloodshed, mass scale killing. So many lost their lives. That's how did they treat. This is the second impact. So British punish Indians. So these two things. Okay. Now the other major change, which was British did, was actually that British change in British policy after this settling down, change in British policy. And what was this change in the policy or policies? What it is referring to, policies? We already discussed that this mean the policies mean here. We already discussed that before British had policies which resulted in war. Do you remember the causes of war?
Yes, sir.
And what were the causes of war?
Sir, wars of succession.
What were the causes of war of independence, please? We did this last time. British policies. We discussed that British policies, their military, economic, education, etc. Now British realized that their previous policies, which caused the war before 1857, which resulted in the war, these policies, and they were basically discriminatory. We discussed exploitative. They exploited Indians. They discriminated them. So this resulted in the war. So now British changed the policy, and following 1857, they became more friendlier towards Indians. They gave them more opportunities in the job, in politics. They introduced more policies which could benefit Indian as well. So later on, from 1857, they tried to rule India with the help of the Indian. Instead, that they could suppress Indians. It doesn't mean that there were no suppression. There was no such other, atrocities committed by the British. Yes, there were, but there was a major change in their policies, and now more Indians were given job opportunity and the rest of the thing. Is this thing clear that following the War of Independence, there was a major change in the British policies, and that now they were intended to rule India with the help of the Indian? Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now these are the major changes what I was referring to before I ask you this question, that what did the war change? So India now part of British Empire, to sum it up, and British though punished Indian severely at the end of the war, but afterward they changed their policies, and now they became more friendlier towards the Indian, and they wanted to rule India with the help of the Indians, sharing with the Indians the government and benefits, economic benefit. So that is all. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I will ask
Yes,
this
sir.
same thing in the next class. I will ask everyone, please. I will ask everyone. Raise your hand if you have understood this question that I'll ask you about the effects of the War of Independence, immediate effects. Raise your hand if you have understood that I will ask you this question in the next class. Hurry up, raise your hand so I can see who is still not following me and is not present in the class, actually. Hurry up, please. Okay, so half of the class, uh, Hassan Bajwa, what is the question? You haven't raised your hand. Okay, go on, boys. Like, Let me see who is not here. Okay. Now, Hassan Bajwa, are you here? Hassan, I called your name twice, so you're not responding. So, what? Can't hear you well. Muhammad Abdur Rahman. Muhammad Abdur Rahman. No response. No response. Muhammad Hassan Abid. Hassan Abid. No response. What you guys are doing here? Zayan Kalim. No
Sir,
response.
mic doesn't work.
His mic doesn't work. Why?
I have no idea.
Hmm. You could, if your mic doesn't work, you have an other way to. You can just text that. Okay, this is the issue. It's not working. And I've understood the question. Your hand can be raised if your mind is not this mic is not working. Your hand can work. Like there are many ways to show your presence. My purpose was the present, and these two guys are not present in the class. So Hassan Bajwa and Muhammad Abdur Rahman. Okay. Um,
Sir, first it was not allowing me to raise the hand. I don't know why.
uh-huh. Did you understand the question?
No, sir.
What do you mean by no? Were you with me in the class?
Yes, sir. Because my
What?
network was not good, so I
Okay,
couldn't.
okay, okay, fine. You would, I mean, since when you were not like able to see? Since
Sir,
start?
no, sir. After the thing you said that no one is participating in that things.
Okay, now see, we discussed the effects of the war of independence on India, and these effects were mainly number one, that Mughal Empire ended, and India became part of British Empire now, and British Crown took over totally India now part of it. British punished Indians severely, and after that, as this war was caused by the British policies, which were discriminatory and exploitative, so later on they changed their policies after following the war, this war, and they became more friendlier, and they introduced policies which were also benefiting Indians. So this is what we discussed, and I ask at the end that this thing, that what was the impact of war on India or effects of war on India. I will ask you this question in the next class, and you will have to tell me these 4 points. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and to everyone, it's fine. Now listen, if I do these things, it takes a lot of time, and there are so many things we need to discuss in each and every topic, So please be attentive, and don't waste time, right? It takes a lot of time. Anyways, now this was the situation. This was like what we call the end of the war, and after a year of trouble, finally by 1859, there was settlement. Now at large mean generally many people, they accepted British as their rulers. Not all of them, still there were nationalists, what British call them extremists, those who wanted British to leave India, and that was their right. If somebody occupies your country, so if you are fighting against them, you are not extremist, you are nationalist, you want freedom, this is your right. Somebody else may define you in any way, but you are not a terrorist, you are not an extremist. It is your birthright to fight for your freedom. If your cause is legitimate, legal, I mean, you have a just cause, true cause, like in case of Palestine or Kashmir, if they are fighting, they are the freedom fighters. They are not the terrorists. May they be labeled as, but legal just cause for freedom or like this. Anyway, so there were in India. So this big change in India, now I'm talking of Indian society. What does society mean? Do you know that? Society mean? Anyone? Please quickly tell me. Do you have any idea what is society? No? We use this word and hear this word 100 times a day even.
Sir, a large group of people.
Sir, a community.
A community, okay, that is a particular group of simple people living together. We form society, we live together. Society is like we say Pakistani society, Indian society. So this is like when people living together. This is like and the characteristics of the society is that from different angle we then analyze society. This is all people, right? People. This is one. It could be an area, it could be a country. That's this form of society. Now, Indian society, I mean pre-partition Indian under British Indian society. Before British, like this was in a way Mughal time, you can see that they were ruling class started from emperor to courtiers, ministers, other officials, jagirdars, landlords, etc. And then there was a poor farmer class and laborer class. Class mean group in a society. Do you understand that? Class mean different group in a society. So Indian society before British like this, there was elite class, there was a this class. Amongst here there were some officials like working class, but this was not very big one, working class. We call it now middle class. Have you heard the word middle class?
Yes.
Okay, now middle class usually refer to a working class in a society, educated, professional. They are neither too rich like the elite ruling class and not too poor like laborers and etc. And this forms present day society's major part. Major part is consist of the this middle class. Is it clear?
Yes.
In middle class, then there are further description, upper middle class, lower middle class, but I'll take it a middle class. This forms the bulk of present day society. This middle class comes into in agricultural societies mean before industrial revolution, before this machine industry, this modern like whatever you see. So before this they were mainly like this ruling class, those who had land and power, and those who were just like in between. There were skilled people, but that was very small class. But with industrial revolution, when industry came and people moved to cities, and then there were many skilled people needed, and this gave birth to this huge ruling middle class. And in India, this middle class came into, like you can say, started emerging and became very powerful after this 1857 war in particular. When things settled down, British introduced policies and industrialization took place in India and rest of the things. So this was a huge middle class came into. Is it clear?
Yes.
Did you understand,
Yes,
everyone?
sir.
This is a very simple thing. Like you yourself observe that in present day societies there is a huge middle class, right? People working in companies, professionals, those who are doing well to do life, but they are not as rich as an industrialist or investors or ruling class, and they are not poor like the laborers, right? So this is general. This middle, why I'm telling you that this transition, this change in Indian society after 1857 with British rule happened, and our freedom from India, from British, like in 1947? When did we get freedom over Pakistan?
1947.
In 1947 August finally. So this was 1857 and this was 1947. So it was 90 years of British total occupation or control of India, which they ruled. In this period of time, then we fought against the British and towards our independence, this mainly with the middle class. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But there was no war, no war. There was no war. For 1947 liberation of India, freedom of India, creation of Pakistan, there was no war with the British. Do you know this thing?
Yes, sir.
We did not fight any battle. We didn't have any war with the British in 47. This struggle, what was this struggle then? How did we get independence then? Were British bored with India and they said, look, we've been here for a long time, you know, we came into India in 1600 and we are, since then we are, you know, looting, plundering. So it's been long time, you know, it's long time. We are fed up now, we are leaving, we are going back to England. Like, did this happen?
No, sir.
So what happened in 47? Why did British give India freedom?
Sir, because they gained power.
But we didn't fight any war. There was no war between Indian and the British in 1947.
Sir,
No.
politically gained
Politically.
power.
Politically. You mean politically, huh?
Yes, sir.
Sir, didn't we fight a war with India?
Sorry?
Didn't we fight a war with India in
We?
1947?
No,
Yes.
there was no war. There was no, yes, there were problems. What you are referring to, maybe. There were problems, many people died, but that was the communal violence. Communal violence mean on the basis of different communities, because in society there are different communities. So the violence was between Hindus, non-Muslim and
And
Muslims. Non-Muslim and Muslim. But that had nothing to do with our creation of Pakistan.
It's
We
talking
got
about the war of
Pakistan. British, passed a law through which India was divided into, and the violence which was in 1947 had nothing to do with this freedom. Okay, so somebody used the word political, right?
I have another question.
Yes, please.
Sir, I've heard that there was a British lawyer who draw the line separating Pakistan and India, and it was his first time visiting Pakistan or India, the subcontinent. Is it true?
Yeah. But I said just that it is British who passed the law, because who was the ruler of India?
Yeah,
British.
British. Yeah.
British finally in 1947, in June 1947, they decided that they gonna leave India, and they passed a law, and in which they decided that India to be a partition, and finally the boundary line between India and Pakistan border was established, what you were saying.
Yes,
So
sir. It was drawn by a British lawyer. It was his
yeah,
first
yeah,
time visiting the subcontinent. He didn't know
yeah, that.
anything about the subcontinent. It was his first time. That's what's shocking.
Yeah, but he did it. He did it with the help of, there were two people from Muslim League side, the party that created Pakistan Work for Pakistan, two from Indian side, and they did it. This was They did it on a map through statistics, facts, and figures. Having, they were not like going into the area and drawing lines that okay, this is my line and this is your line. No, they did it on the map of India. Anyways, that's how were boundaries drawn, we'll discuss. That's a debate for another time, like we have a topic in our class. Here I'm trying to make the background for that, what you are referring
Like,
to, what happened in 47, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, now see here, that from 1857 to 1947, as I mentioned you, that British now adopted policies which were friendlier towards Indian, and they took Indian into government. Is that point clear? Change in policies. Hurry up, boys, hurry up.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, when British started taking Indian into running the India, provided them opportunities, and slowly and gradually they introduced a system of government, political elections, etc. So more and more Indian, and then education and jobs and industry, etc. So this middle class, so no more and more Indian were participating in government. Slowly and gradually, this was a transition of power from British to the Indians. So 1947, what happened was not a one-time affair. It was basically a struggle which was spread over 90 years, and this was political struggle. Political. So politicians won you independence. Politicians won you a separate homeland, though we consider them so corrupt nowadays. Maybe rightly so in many cases. But it was politicians who won India independence, not generals, no army. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And they won independence for us and country with the help of mainly this powerful middle class who got educated, uh, took different responsibilities in the society, and then politics, and then the leaders who motivated these masses, and slowly and gradually British were forced to transfer power to the Indian. Here British were in full control. Here Indian became the in charge or full control of the countries. So this was gradual transition of power towards the Indian. Initially they offered them small space, right? And slowly and gradually, with their struggle, Indian political struggle, they got more and more share in power, more and more share in power, and finally, they forced British through a political struggle leave India. In this political struggle, there was at time violence as well. We can't say that there was no violence. There was violence in this political struggle, but mainly it remained a political struggle, and that's why you see your leaders, our founding father Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was he a politician or a general?
A politician.
A politician. Nehru, Gandhi, they were politicians, right? Allama Iqbal, Qaid Azam, Liaquat Ali Khan, they were politicians. So they won, and this was a gradual political struggle. Now, this I gave you an overview, total overview. This goes, we will discuss this period in detail, what happened. But before discussing this, you should have a picture in your mind that this is what was going on. So then you can easily understand that individual single events happening when we will discuss here in this period of time. So you can easily understand that how did it start, how did it move on, and finally to 47. But nutshell, conceptually you should know that we were done with the war, and now a peaceful time, generally a peaceful time I'm saying, which mean that cooperation between the rulers and the ruling, the being ruled, Indian and the British, a cooperation started. And initially they gave Indian a very small space, but with the help of this powerful middle class, slowly and gradually we inched towards our independence in 47. So this was 90 years of struggle, which was mainly political. Is this concept clear
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
to
sir.
everyone? This is such an important concept that this covers your entire Pakistan movement from 1857 to 1947, and this concept covers entire section 2 of the book, which is from chapter 5 to chapter 10. Do you understand this concept? This
Yes,
is
sir.
so
Yes, sir.
this is so important. This idea or concept, what you call it. Rest, what we will be doing, we will be just filling in here. This will be just filling in here. Do you understand? That's why I spent a lot of time on this topic, on this understanding that look, we discussed 1600 British came for next 150 years they did trade. Just 1 minute only. I know it's break time, but this is very important. Can't do next time. 1600 British came to 1608 rather they came to India. Till 1757 they were mainly into trade. This was trade. Their main target was trade. 1857 to 1757 to 1857, this was their expansion period in India. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Expansion
sir.
period mean that where they through wars they controlled India, right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it okay? 1857, their job was done because they had all India under their control. War of Independence we lost. From this to this period of time, 1947, this was the period of cooperation between, mainly cooperation between British and Indians. And this, what I've already explained in detail, that this was the period when through political struggle we won independence. So this covers like whole of the situation. And here now, from here, this is our next main topic, and we'll be talking about all the things. But you should keep in this in mind, that this is what was happening from peace towards our freedom. We had a political struggle, and next we'll be talking all political struggle here. Now, as I'm not giving you any homework, we had just the intro of the next topic, and basically the intro of next six, five, six topic chapters, whole Pakistan movement. So by next week, you should be able to do the same last task up till War of Independence, all note-taking things. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no
Yes,
excuse
sir.
now. Excuse next time. Go, hurry up for your break. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz,
Allah
sir.
Allah,
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.